Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at a protector who is very often forgot about because of the unfortunate timing of her release and the fact that her team is kind of wonky in a very very gimmicky kind of way. And of course, we are talking today about Protector Ramiris, a unit that, not a lot of people talk about because no one really ever uses her. She can be fun in some ways, but now that she's been added to the general pool, I figured it would be a good time to, test her out and see if she can help you clear EX3 of the current Beatdown battle to try and get that last dupe of Ranga using a few different teams. So Ramiris' whole gimmick is that for 3 turns, she straight up gives you 40% ult gauge at the end of every turn. So you use her, and the end of that turn, 40% ult gauge. The next turn, another 40%. And the next turn, another 40%. Why am I not on her skill? So that's the secret skill Vitalization. Oh, it's 45%. Sorry, it's even better. 3 times when the enemy's turn ends, and then increases all allies' space attack by 15% for 3 turns, and then gives you 40 skill points, which again is just a really, really good thing if you're wanting to use a few big-time buffs or, a lot of small buffs. But the fact that she's giving you 45% ult gauge for 3 turns, like that's a lot of ult gauge. And when you combine it with the other units on her team that have that charm effect, like Summer Lumi has, that charm that gives you 15% ult gauge, that stacks on top of this because they're 2 different things. So if you use Lumi or free-to-play Sufia or Space Shion or whoever is on her team, that's 15% on top of 45, so you're looking at 60% ult gauge for 3 turns. Like, and you send a few orbs, especially a few oranges, and you're looking pretty topped up on EX ults, or normal ults, depending. So I figured now would be a good time to test her out, now that people may or may not have pulled her and been like, is she any good? Can she even do anything useful? She can do a few things useful. On very specific stages and teams, but she can still do a few things. So let's test her out. Alright, this is the first team that we're going to be using, Ramiris. We're going to go with an orange-focused team just because that's the stage and what they want to use, and also because if we get a lot of oranges, we can just have so many ults. But free-to-play Mirin changes greens to oranges, Beretta changes blue to oranges, and then Hinata does the special convert. And then we've got Milim and Shinsha as our DPS units. Milim, who's got the Drago effect, which unfortunately will be sealed, so can't actually use that. But she has her 50% space buff, which will combine with Shinsha's ult buff and 30% space resistance down, and they're both single target ults. So in theory, we should be able to do enough damage with those 2 skills used many times to whittle the boss down quite a bit. So let's go ahead and jump in. This team should work. I mean, EX3 doesn't have that much HP, right? And as long as Milim and Shinsha can do like 50, 60 some K every ult, we're gonna have so many ults that we're just gonna be launching them left and right. So turn 1, that's why we brought Hinata to get this orb steal. We can't really use Ranga since none of these characters are on Wielder of Magic, even though they're all magic characters. Again, don't question the logic, just understand that it's not gonna make sense. So we're going to take out Beretta, we're going to take out Mirin, and then we're going to have our, I guess, 3 strongest single targets? Question mark? I mean, Beretta is level 100 and Hinata's 96, but it is what it is. So 9k for Milim right there, and then we've got a decent number of orbs. We can actually do something with that because we brought Mirin. So we kind of have to leave Hinata here, but Shinsha doesn't have any orbs, so it doesn't really matter. So what we are going to do is then use this, and because Hinata doesn't give us any extra like protection gauge on her skill, we didn't actually get Ramiris this turn. But we'll get her next turn, along with 2 ults for Milim. So it's like we don't even need Ramiris right there, right? That didn't do a lot of damage. 5,000, 5,000. Now he's got some extra defense, so we are going to drop down a bit. Well, not really. Never mind. Okay, that's an unfortunate hand. I think we're just going to run with it. Yeah, I think we're just going to swap you out. We're going to put the Vitalization on. That'll give us 40 skill points, so we could use something here if we wanted to. So let's use the alt buff, space resistance down. We'll get the 40 skill points from Ramiris. We're 1 point shy from being able to use the space buff, but I think this will still do okay damage. So Milim, how much does she do? 49k. I mean, he's still almost, like, he's a third down his HP. That's not bad. And now, we'll watch all three of our units get ults. So right here, there we go. So there we go. That gave us the extra 45% ult. Now everybody has an ult. Let's use the space buff now, and that'll affect both her and Shinsha. Not Hinata, obviously, but now we have 3 ults. And now for the next 2 more turns, 14k. Okay, it's not great. Shinsha does 28k, also not great. And then Milim does 37k. And, you know, look at that. We're 2/3 down now. And it's not been that difficult, even without getting the Protector turn 2. I mean, this is working just by virtue of just sending ults, which just do more damage. Okay, that hand is also unfortunate. But it doesn't really matter, because we have 2 ults. And, if you look at that, we have a good orb change. Like, we could bring in Mirren to change those, but we didn't. We just sent the Hinata orbs just to get rid of them. 28k right there, and then we still have 1 more turn of the Ramiris skill, which means that next turn we should get another ult or so. Yeah, 2 ults. Not for Milim, but God, what is with the green orbs? Get out of here. Okay, well, if we use Ramiris here, we'll have enough points to use the alt buff, which will help out Hinata at least, and Shinsha just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and use that. And now we've got another 3 turns of Vitalization in case we don't kill here, which may or may not. 24k. Can Shinsha do it? 39k. There we go. 6 turns before his big old nuke. And yeah, I'd call that pretty good right there. It wasn't very hard. Lots of ults were being sent. And I'm fairly happy with that outcome. Let's try a different team that has some water units on it now. Alright, for the next team, we're going to be using this Ramiris team. So we've swapped Beretta for one of the other primary blue to orange orb changers, Fire Shizu. We've swapped the light Hinata for the Fire Slime Rimuru. And then we've got 4-star Phobio to take care of the green to oranges. And then we brought 2 old water units, Water Shuna and Water Hinata, because 1, they're both magic, so they will do more damage than physical. 2, they're water, which means they will do even more damage. And 3, they're both single target, and they, well, at least one of them complements the other. Hinata does get her attack buff. We don't get her crit damage buff, which honestly is good, because we don't want crit on this boss. So let's go ahead and start it up. Except I'm out of stamina. Okay. Always, I never pay attention to that. But Shuna will be able to give us the alt gauge, or the alt buff, alongside the water resistance, which means that both of them will do more damage on top of everything else. So this actually should probably be even easier than the Shinsha and Milim run, because Fire Slime Rimuru does give us extra protection gauge on top of everything else when we use his orb changes, which means that we will have Ramiris on turn 2, and that could make things a lot more interesting and enhance our, well, I guess speed up our kill. Maybe not by turn 6 anymore, but by turn 5, just by virtue of having more ults earlier. Now, we're going to take Fire Slime out, and we're going to take Phobio out, because they're both weak. And even though Shizu is physical, she is still a single target, so I mean, I guess it works. 7,000, 6,000 damage, 7,000 because we had that Pierce. So already we're doing more damage than what Milim was, yeah, 12.6k right there. And we've taken a chunk of his health out already. And we have a bunch of blues. Okay, well, we have 4 Hinata orbs, I guess, is what we'll really chalk that up to. But here, we have Ramiris, we have a lot of alt gauge already, so let's just go ahead and change those, and then we can, technically, take her out, and if we use the 40 points here, we'll have enough to use both orb changes from Fire Slime again, and then we'll have like a double ult for Hinata, alongside another 40% that is just kind of wasted on her now. But, I mean, we're able to do everything here. So already this team is working out a lot better. We will get Shuna's ult as well, which is great. So now we'll have Shuna's ult plus another 40% at the end of the turn. Hinata will have a double ult, so we're not going to ever lose Hinata's ult for a while, probably. And we're already doing a lot more damage here. And now this is not going to give Fire Slime an ult, but yeah, it'll be close. But then we also get to a double ult for Shuna. And with, the orb changes right here, we'll bring Phobio in, use his, and... or do we use the ult? Okay. Let's use the orb change, because that'll get us more points, I guess. Actually, that'll get us another Ramiris, which is even better. So here, we're going to use one of the ults for Hinata. We'll have another ult for Shuna coming up, plus another 45% after this. 28.7k. This is just with no buff, right? So we're already doing a lot more damage. And he's already, I think, down to half. Well, he guarded that. Almost half. But, I mean, now, Hinata probably has almost double again. Yeah, very, very close. Phobio did not have the revitalization, I guess. Never mind. Alright, so there's the water resistance down, plus the ult damage up, plus Hinata's attack buff. Do I want to use that now? Okay, yeah, we'll just do this. I don't know why I brought Slime Reamer up front. I guess because he's magic, I guess. We're going to use Shuna's Orb Change just for funsies because we have the points, and it gets us a full hand. Not that it really matters. Shuna now does 51k, Hinata will do more, 65k, and then because of Ramiris, we're going to have a double ult next turn. Actually, we're going to have a triple ult, now, technically speaking, because Slime Reamer will also get it. So, boom, okay. And then, there we go. Triple ult, and, I mean, this should be it. We're just going to use the attack buff. And I think just the two of them by themselves will probably do it. Hinata, 36k. And now Shuna finishes up with 17.5 because she crit right there. Unfortunate, but hey, it's turn 5 now instead of turn 6, so technically we were able to clear it just by virtue of having more ult earlier in the fight. But, that's Ramiris for EX3. She doesn't always work, right? You need... Normally, I'd want probably a green... She's meant to be on a green team. That's what Space 3.0 was. So having Isis here, having, Sufia, who was the free-to-play unit for that meta, she works very well together. But, I mean, you can slot her in on a few teams, and she can do work still, and it's pretty fun to use her. I liked her team. It was very gimmicky, and I knew it was going to fall off very quickly, but it was fun when she came out. So I'm glad I got to be able to use her again. I used her for the Shizu showcase as well, just for funsies, and, that worked pretty well. But there we go. That's Protector Ramiris, 8 months later, because she came out on Valentine's Day. So let me know what you guys think, but that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.